Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to the soothing sounds of the Nightwatch Zone. I'm your host, Night Garver. How's it going, Ms. Coriander?
It's going good. Oh man.
All right.
Yeah.
Look, let me just say something. That was awesome. I'm just saying. All right, let's see what we have in the chat.
Oh,
People are probably like, what the hell is
what
going
the
on here?
hell?
Oh,
Right?
Lord. Omni
Oh
is the
shit.
chat. What's going on? The
Hey.
general, the general, ride or die,
Hello.
always. Thank you so much, Val.
Mm-hmm.
Daisy's in the chat saying, so excited for this, really needed it tonight. Well, you've come to
Yeah.
the right place. You've come to the right
Right?
place. Um,
Yes, you have.
yes. What's going on? My man Ginger Ninja, also ride or
Hello.
die. What's up, brother?
Mhm.
David's in the chat. Conrad's in the chat. What's going on, you guys? Seriously. And Val's like, that was awesome. Thank you, Val.
Oh
Thank you
shoot.
so much.
Right?
We put some time into that. Um, my man Eric, also ride or died. Play Misty for me was the first thing I thought of when seeing tonight's title. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Yep.
Um, no doubt about that. Um, he says, "Night the best DJ since Wolfman Jack." I wish. I
Right?
wish. Oh man. Gina's in the chat too, saying mint intro. Thank you guys. We worked on it. We really did. All right. So tonight, obviously, we're going to be talking about what we wanted to talk about a little bit is um, this trope that we see in a lot of thrillers where you have the obsessed lover. And specifically, we're talking about crazy, obsessed girlfriends.
Yeah.
And we obviously wanted to get
Oh
a
shoot.
sense of what people thought, as far
Mm-hmm.
as their history with these types of movies. And actually, I'm going to put in the chat um, just for people to just, give us some of your um, you know, examples of some of your favorite movies that have this trope. Um,
Yeah.
but Coriander,
Mm-hmm.
let's start with you. Let's start with you and maybe
Yeah.
a movie or a character that has this trope that really spoke to you.
Well, obviously, everybody knows Fatal Attraction and Glenn Close playing the obsessed lover. So
Yes.
I
Yes.
mean, these two ladies, I think these two played it well. These two are like my favorite for obsessed women.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
Absolutely. And Glenn Close was fantastic. In that movie, everybody was great. Of course, you had the legendary Michael Douglas and
yeah,
Ann Archer as well. And I think that this movie, we did an episode on it. If you guys have not seen that episode,
yeah.
please check it out. It was absolutely it was a great time because this really brought back memories because I had actually seen this movie when I was a kid. My parents actually
Same.
my parents actually let me watch it, and it was like, so I was really young at the time, so it was really cool. Um,
Wow.
but definitely check out that episode. It was fun. And by the way, fun fact for you guys that do follow us on the community tabs, which I know that can sometimes be hit or miss for a lot of folks. But I had put up a poll asking, did anyone have an idea on what my least favorite Slasher Movie Club episode was, and I had Fatal Attraction in
Mhm.
that voting, which actually got a lot of votes. And I just want to let folks know that that is not
Wow.
the answer because I
Right?
absolutely
I'm
love Fatal
surprised at
Attraction.
that.
I also put
Yeah.
a
Hmm.
curveball in there too, just to see, what people do watch. I put The Blob, our episode on The Blob, in that. And of course,
Hmm.
that's not a movie that we did on Slasher Movie Club, and it's not a slasher film either. And that had a lot of votes. I was like, okay, all right. But
We
you
did
gotta
that
have
on Monster
fun.
Fridays.
We
Get it right.
did.
No.
That's right. No, it's okay though. But yeah. So, anyways, but no, that's great. That's a great choice because Glenn Close um, did a hell of a job in that movie, and to this day, is still scary.
She did.
Really, really. Um, did you have something we were gonna say?
I was just gonna say this chick did pretty friggin' good in the crazy department. So
Yeah,
everyone
absolutely.
thinks of Glenn Close, but I think people forgot about this. I can't remember her name,
Oh,
but What the
Walter,
hell?
you're talking about in this imp oh, okay, well, yeah, and we're gonna get to that. We
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
get to that. And Gina brings up a really good, point here, which it's funny you say this because I've got a pick as well, but Gina says, "What about, the crazy ex-boyfriends? I have one." Well, let me tell you
Who
about
doesn't have a crazy ex, right?
right, well, let me tell you about my pick. I went with, the movie Fear with, Mark
Yeah,
Wahlberg and Reese
yeah.
Witherspoon, and
That's a good
holy
one.
crap, right? You know, and I just
Mm.
wanted to put a twist on it. I know we said we're talking about crazy obsessed girlfriends, and there's other examples too, but we wanted to
Ooh,
hear
we'll
from
have to
you
do
guys.
that movie. Yeah.
Probably. Well, we don't wanna give it away, but we probably will. But
Yeah, that's a good one.
for you guys in the chat, give us some examples of your favorite movies with this trope, this thriller trope. But yeah, in this movie, and I haven't seen it in a while, but Mark Wahlberg, man, wow, what a hell of a performance! And I felt so bad for Reese
Yeah,
Witherspoon in this movie, but this is a classic
right?
example of that trope. And
Hmm.
you know, it just makes you really look at life a little bit differently, doesn't it, Coriander? You know, it's like,
Yeah.
wow.
I'm glad I'm not single. No.
Right. Me too. Um,
Yeah,
and let me just catch up to the chat here. Val was saying Glenn Close is the goat of obsessed girlfriends. You know what? I definitely think she took it to that next level, but our conversation is going to give you some foundation to that. But Glenn Close is absolutely amazing, and every to
she
me,
is
she can do
good.
no wrong. She really can do
Hmm.
no wrong. Conrad's agreeing that she was absolutely bonkers in that movie. Absolutely. And William's in the chat too. What's up, William? Good to see you. Saying agreed. I won't be ignored, Dan. There's a reason I play that in the intro because it was just. I'm telling you, it's crazy. Um, Eric says the Blob, such a memorable Monster Friday where my screen was all green during the stream, but we'll do it live. You know it, man. You know it. You know
Aw.
it. Tiger Man's in the chat
Yeah,
too. What's going on? What's going on? And Val, once again, Val just doing the work for the people. Thank you so much putting in the link for our slasher movie club playlist. Which at this point,
nice.
I mean, we're heading to 75 episodes soon, and it's crazy,
Nice.
but we're getting there. We're absolutely
Dang,
getting
we're
there,
gonna
and it's
have like a 100th episode like party stream,
yeah,
like
absolutely,
hardcore.
yeah.
No.
Uh, Conrad saying the dude was psycho in Fear. Great pick there. Absolutely. Um, Eric saying Fear is good, except for Mark Wahlberg. Right. Yeah, and it was one of his first films. William saying that too. Yeah. Daisy coming in with a great pick. Julia from Hellraiser.
Yep,
Absolutely, Daisy. Great choice. And
definitely.
it definitely brings a lot more of the horror aspect into a
Oh,
pick. That's great.
yeah, yeah, that's a great
Yeah.
one. Yep.
Yeah. And of course, you know, this type of trope and there's variations of it as well, but we said this back when we did Fatal Attraction, but we will pay off the thought as far as getting into some more of those types of movies. And like we said, Fear, you've got Basic Instinct, you've got Single White Female, you've got tons of these movies that have this
Yeah.
trope. And I think that
Single white female, that's a good one too.
it is. I was
Yeah.
gonna say that for my pick, but I wanted to do something a little different and do
Yeah,
Fear, you know,
throwing a guy in
with
there.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly,
Yep.
exactly. The Hand That Rocks the Cradle as well.
That's a good
Eric
one.
saying it. Eric got it to it before me. Yes, yes, absolutely. He knows what's going on. Daisy saying love that movie. Yeah, there's some good movies, so we're definitely gonna be going down that road as well. So we hope that you guys can join us on that travel. So this is all in preparation for the movie that we did watch for Slasher Movie Club. And as you guys know, we've been doing something a little bit different the last couple episodes and kind of saving the movie that we're going to kind of discuss for a little bit. We'll see how that goes. We might continue that. We may not. Who knows? We're just trying to, you know, spice things up a little bit. But we're talking about a movie that to me is fantastic. I know it's a favorite of
Yeah.
Coriander's, and it's Play
Yeah, it
Misty
is.
for Me from
I've been wanting to do
1971.
this forever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have. Yes, you have. And it stars the iconic, the legendary. the absolutely badass, amazing Clint
Yeah.
Eastwood,
Yep.
who I can't say enough about, but it also stars
Mhm.
Jessica Walter as Evelyn, who is
Yes, Evelyn.
absolutely bonkers
Yeah.
crazy. And so we wanted to take a moment to talk about this movie and see what people thought. But we can't talk about Play Misty for me without having a little bit of ambiance, a little bit of background ambiance going on. So let's just get some of that going here because we need that.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Anyways,
Mhm.
I'm having fun with this, and hopefully you guys are too. But Coriander, this movie is a favorite of yours. You love this movie, and you had been wanting to
Mhm.
do this for a long time. What's your history with this movie? Like when you first saw it, and what are your overall thoughts on it?
I couldn't believe when this movie was brought to my attention and I watched it, and it was the role I hadn't seen Clint Eastwood in,
Yeah.
and I loved it. I'm a sucker for these types of movies.
Hmm.
Yeah, and Clint Eastwood, I mean, I'm a fan of his, so
Yeah.
yeah, this is like one of my favorites. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, and he directed it as well.
yeah, yeah. He's
Yeah.
so
I mean,
talented.
yeah, he,
Yeah.
he he's fantastic, and of course, we've talked about Clint Eastwood, and we're going to talk more about him and his marvelous career and work. But this movie, this was the film. What's
This
that?
music you picked,
Hmm.
you need to like start unbuttoning your shirt
Stop.
slowly,
I was trying to get some of the ambiance from the movie,
take it
man.
off.
Hold on. Let's stop. let me
You need to strip. That's what I'm
let me
thinking.
just let me just show you my man here, Dave Garver. Clint
Yeah,
looking swift, very swift. So I was trying to get a little
yeah,
bit of that vibe in here. Of course, 1971. What a time! What a time! But
yeah.
real quick too, let me just jump to the chat and catch up to these guys a little bit as well, and then we get a little bit more into Play Misty. For me, we got our good friend Marty from the Trashed Picture Show
Hello.
saying, "Yo guys, check out Lena Olin in Romeo is Bleeding. She plays a Russian hit woman who you don't know if she wants to kill Gary Oldman or shag him." I've heard of that movie, but I don't think if I
Mm,
saw it, it's been a long time. But yeah, maybe we will. That's a great choice, Marty. Marty, make sure you send that to me either in a comment on here or DM me because yeah, Gary Oldman is always great. um,
yeah, yes.
but thank you for that, bro. That's a great idea. William is saying Swim Fan and The Crush were
The
good.
crush was good. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Yep. Let's see. Disclosure. Gina's talking about Disclosure. That was a
Yep.
good one. Melissa's in the chat saying hello. What's going on, Melissa?
Oh,
Um, let's see. Do, 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 do. And I do like this music though, man. This is some good. I found this and I was like, this is perfect. You know. Anyways,
yeah.
but we opened the movie with Clint playing a radio DJ, just a regular guy. It's nothing really too weird about it. I do think that this movie is shot really really well, and I think that he just fits this role, even though at this point
Yeah.
he was still known for being the cowboy. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So for his first film to direct, he totally went against the grain, which if you know Clint Eastwood, that's just who he is. And I totally respect him for it. It was a great,
Hmm.
great movie. It really, really was. But
Yep.
you basically have him being, I don't know, obsessed over by this listener who calls in, and like you did
Yeah.
so wonderfully in the beginning of this episode, and all she says is, "Play Misty for me," you know?
Yeah.
And it's just kind of interesting how this all comes about because he runs into her at a bar. Of course, we find out that she was stalking
Was
him.
waiting for him. Yeah.
Yes. And it
Yeah.
was like, and listen, let me just say, and I also want to say too, guys, we're a little bit all over the place.
Well,
Go ahead.
I think if anything, it was just a setup, really, because she said she was stood up. The first time I was ever stood up. So
Hmm.
it's not like she was obviously waiting for him. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
she had
Yeah.
a good, reason to be like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, go
Absolutely.
ahead.
Absolutely. And I also want to say, to a lot of what we've talked about and in the chat, Glenn Close is absolutely the GOAT, but I'm going to give Jessica Walter as Evelyn a hell of a lot of credit because
Yes.
the thing that she did,
Yes. This was before that movie, people.
it is, but
So yeah.
what I want to say is that the thing that she did that was very, very good is that she was so nice. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And I know this might sound crazy, no pun intended, but I actually felt bad for her through, I don't know, maybe about halfway of this movie because she was nice. You could just tell that she had some things going on. And I think Glenn Close played it a lot more crazy, if that makes any sense, which isn't bad. It's just a different portrayal. Just like all of these movies, you have different levels of the craziness that they inject into their character. But yeah, and Jessica Walter,
She had her moments.
oh, she absolutely did.
Yeah.
Um, and also, I just want to say, rest in peace because she just passed away last year. So which, is kind of a bummer. But anyways, she was fantastic in this movie, and of course, once she meets Clint Eastwood at the bar, they hang out and this and that, and she's totally attached to him. She listens to his radio show all the time. His number one fan, a little bit of that Kathy Bates in there as well, and she gets totally attached to him. And
Hmm.
to his credit, he was upfront with her right from the beginning, saying, "Hey, you know, I don't want to complicate my life. I just want to have
Hmm.
some fun. We're having fun." And we both said, because Evelyn also said, "Yeah, no strings attached, blah, blah, blah." And it just totally goes downhill from
Yeah.
there.
Pretty
Um,
quickly.
yes, pretty darn quickly,
Hmm.
And the other thing that made it kind of interesting as well, Coriander, and I'll get your thoughts on this, is that he has an ex-girlfriend named Toby, played by Donna Mills, who had gone on to do a lot of great things on TV and so forth, Knots Landing and stuff like that, I believe, or Dallas, I believe it was. But anyways, but she's kind of back on the scene, and he's trying to rekindle their romance. And so that throws a whole big monkey wrench into this situation with Evelyn. Coriander, what did you think of Toby, and as far as how Clint Eastwood was trying to kind of respark their romance and how that all affected the Evelyn plot?
Well, at first she was pretty standoffish towards him,
Right.
because they had been down that road before. It didn't work
Mm-hmm.
out. And she was almost telling him, I don't know if I want to do it again.
Right. Right.
So I kind of felt bad for her, in a way,
Yeah,
because
I did
he
too.
was almost a little persistent, like,
Yeah.
we're gonna go out, he's grabbing her arm, kind of like, come on, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
It was just, I liked her character. And you knew that once, Evelyn found out about her, that, yeah, you go from, you feel even, worse for her because,
You
yeah,
do,
she's
man.
innocent in all this. Yeah.
Yeah, she is absolutely innocent in all this, and she definitely was not going to re-spark their relationship, like you were saying, Coriander. But I just want to say this for you guys in the chat. And by the way, Marty, thank you so much for sharing this out on Twitter. Always appreciate that, bro. You rock, man. Seriously, thank you so much. We really
Yeah.
appreciate that, especially for Slasher Movie Club, because we're swimming against the current, guys. We're swimming against the current. But for you guys in the chat, I don't know how many of you guys have seen Play Misty for Me, or maybe who've seen it recently, but it had some really creepy scenes in it, like the scene that I was showing where Dave and Toby are talking, and they're like in this beachy type of area, and then the camera pans back, and you see Evelyn like by the
Uh-huh.
trees, like stalking
Yeah.
them, and they're out in the middle of nowhere. Like there is not another
Hmm.
human alive, but somehow Evelyn finds them and so forth. I mean, it was a lot of interesting shots in this movie. Very creepy thriller. You could see shades of Psycho in this. The thing about Clint Eastwood, he's such an intelligent artist. So I can definitely imagine that he did his homework before working on this movie, if you know what I mean. But
Yeah.
Coriander, were there any other scenes because that scene when she was stalking them from the tree really got to me. The way that it was filmed and the way that it all came about. Were there any scenes that were really creepy to you or that stand out as some of your favorites?
Obviously, I don't know if it's his maid or whatever, when she comes to his place.
Birdie. Yep.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and it's trashed, and then she
Mm-hmm.
hears like noises, and she
Yes.
goes to check it out, and yeah, this chick went crazy on it. I'm so glad. Well, I won't say what happens, but
Right.
yeah, it
We're
was
we're
like,
glad that they made a choice that you usually don't see in horror thrillers. You
right.
know what I mean. Yes.
Hmm.
That was a great scene. Um, Another scene that was pretty wow was the car scene where she jumps into the car and takes his keys and they go through this huge argument in
Yeah.
public. And then I played this a little bit in the opening clip when they get out of the car and they're kind of arguing,
Hmm.
and these guys see them arguing and they're basically like, hey, what's going on? And Clint played it really well because he's frustrated because he's trying to be honest with Evelyn.
Yeah.
And I want to say this may get us into a rabbit trail, but unlike Michael Douglas in Fatal Attraction, who I don't think he was a bad guy, but I don't think he was as upfront with Glenn Close in that movie. Clint in this movie was upfront from the get-go with Evelyn, saying, hey, this is
Yeah.
just for fun. If we're going to do this, there's no strings attached. But
And he kind of
anyways,
even said, he was kind of in a thing,
right.
so
Yeah, he
yeah.
said my life is complicated because he had an
Hmm.
ex that he was still wanting to be with, but they just
Yeah.
hadn't reconnected yet. But
Yeah.
I played this in the clip earlier where these guys see them arguing out in public, and Clint was at his wit's end, man. And he turns around, he's like, knock it off. And then Evelyn, I'm telling you, this was crazy. She's like, yeah, get lost, assholes. And the way she
Yeah.
said it, Coriander, the
Yeah.
way she said it was wow. Like she went from here to there, like in one
Yeah.
second. It was scary.
She was showing signs, from the very beginning, maybe
Yeah,
not the first night, but
right.
when she showed up that next day, there were
Yeah,
signs that you're like, shit, dude, you fucked up, man.
yeah. It's
You
like,
picked the
dude, and
wrong bitch
it-
for a one
it-
night stand.
you said that, not me. But the
Yeah, I
guys,
did.
it was funny because the guys in the movie, they said the same thing. They say, "Oh, he's got his own problems with this one," and I'm like, "Oh man, this bad stuff."
Yeah, good luck, you know.
Real quick too, in the chat, this is an interesting question. Melissa says, I've never seen it. How do you guys know about these movies? You're not old. Well, we are going to let you guys in on a secret. We've
Hmm.
talked about this for a lot of episodes.
We're
But
not young either,
what
though. No,
well, geez, I just did have a
I'm
birthday.
just,
But anyways, but
I know.
we've talked about this a lot, but the whole idea of Slasher Movie Club really came from our love of the subgenre. And it was kind of a fun exercise of sorts that we wanted to do a long time ago now. And what
Yeah.
we did is, I have this book. It's called the Teenage Slasher Movie Book, and it's literally got tons of slasher movies from the
Yeah, it
60s
does.
on to today. And what
Yeah.
we decided was that we would use the book as a roadmap to decide what movies we would talk about on Slasher Movie Club, as long as they were readily available to folks, because we wanted it to be something that people could either stream for free so that they could watch the movie, and when we would do an episode, talk about it with us. But over 60 episodes, we've found that that doesn't always happen. So that's why we haven't really announced the movies the last couple episodes. I don't know. I'm still back and forth on that because it just didn't seem like it made a big difference whether we announced it or not. But anyways, that's what we're using. And a lot of these movies that we do in this particular series are movies that we have never seen or maybe haven't seen in a long time. And we've found a lot of interesting gems. It's been such a fun series to do. But anyways,
Yeah.
because Melissa was like, how do you guys know these movies? That was a good question. Ninja saying, I think I saw this one a long time ago.
Oh, you need to
Yeah.
revisit it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Omni saying, sup, what's up? I
Hello.
had your boys in the chat too. Guys, I just want to say, I'm not
Hey.
not trying to toot our own horn, but you guys got to watch the replay from the
Toot toot.
beginning. I think
Yeah.
we
Oh,
had some fun in the beginning. I won't give
mm,
away the surprise, but check out the replay, guys. I think it was a lot of fun. And anyways, Ninja saying my parents introduced me to Clint Eastwood with his westerns and of course Dirty Harry. I don't think I've
yeah,
seen him in a bad movie ever. I haven't either. I
yeah.
haven't either. He's an absolute legend. I absolutely
He's
love everything he
yeah,
does.
yeah,
But you know, another scene that really got to me, I want to get your thoughts on too, Coriander, is that Clint is playing a radio DJ.
yeah,
And he's just, he's working, he's just living his life, trying to get back with his
yeah.
ex-girlfriend and stuff. And he
Hmm.
gets tangled up in this thing with Evelyn. Well, he gets a chance for a new gig and he goes on a lunch,
Oh,
a business lunch date.
yeah,
And with this older lady, and
yeah,
Evelyn, of course, knows his every move, knows where he's at all the time. And she goes there, interrupts his business lunch date,
yeah,
totally embarrasses him. And oh my God, the scene was so shocking because of how crazy Jessica
yeah.
played that part in the
Some of the
movie.
the stuff she was saying about this lady was like, wow.
Yes, it was crazy. And so
Yeah,
then he's trying to get her out of because it's all within, it's like an outdoor restaurant and there's a bunch of
yeah,
people there and he's being embarrassed because he has a little bit of celebrity status. People know his show and so forth. But anyways, so he's dragging her out and there's a cab there and he's trying to get her inside of a cab and she's reaching out. I
yeah,
wish I could play the scene, but she's reaching out and he's telling the cabbie, go, get her out of here, go get her. And the way that
yeah,
Jessica played this scene, I kid you not, and I know this might sound cheesy, but yeah, she's out. She's out there. But there
hmm,
was that part of me that felt kind of bad for her because of what she's dealing with inside of her own head, and I think that's because of the way that Jessica played the character. Like she wasn't, at least from what we saw up until the end, she wasn't a mean person or a bad person. She was just ill, and she was just
yeah,
obsessed with this guy. And I really did feel bad for her. And that to me shows that the movie was effective in what they were doing, what Clint did as a director, and of course, what the late great Jessica Walter did as character. Coriander, what did you think of that scene? It was crazy.
yeah. It was a really good scene, and you knew right there that you're in trouble because
Yes.
you can't get rid of her, you know.
Oh.
Wasn't this like, was this before she did her little thing to herself, or was it
Yes, it was
after?
before. And well,
Okay.
yeah, it was before.
Was
Yep.
it, I can't remember. Okay.
Pretty sure it was, but
So,
I want to get to that too. Yep.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I felt bad for Clint more than her, you know?
Right.
So,
Ooh,
yeah, you just
man,
knew that he was in trouble.
you did. At that point,
Yeah.
there was no doubt. There was absolutely no doubt at all. Um,
Yeah.
and also in the chat, we've got our good buddy Jason Dyer saying, dropping by to say hi. Unfortunately, I cannot stay. Stay awesome. Alrighty.
Oh,
Take care, bro. Thank you for
have a good
stopping by.
night.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you gotta love him. He says, I did hit that like button. You're all right, bro. You're all right.
Mm.
Um, Omni saying, let me know, Knight, if you ever need a writer for anything. Know an actor that may be interested. Okay. Hey, you never know. We had some fun with this thing today. It was just a little thing we did, but who knows, I'm Coriander knows this better than anyone. I'm always coming up with these things to try and she's the best sport in the world because she's always like, okay, let's do it. And so you never know. You never know. Hatchet Boy is saying my dad was a huge Clint Eastwood fan, obsessed with the good,
Nice.
the bad, and the ugly, and I love all Clint Eastwood
Yeah.
films. Brings back a lot of good memories. I'm right there with
Yeah.
you.
Have
And
you
I have that.
seen this one? That's what I want to know. If not, you should check this one out.
Yeah, good question. Yeah, yeah. And my childhood is very similar to my dad brought me and my brother into the
Same.
Clint Eastwood fold.
I always remember the one with the orangutan. What the hell was that?
Every Which Way But Loose.
Yeah.
Yes, I love
Yes.
that one. What a
Yeah.
career! What a career!
I know.
We're gonna talk more about Clint. We've done that before on a couple occasions, but I want to go deeper because he's literally a living legend, and I want to
Yeah.
make sure that we spend some time giving him his flowers now. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Um, William saying she was mentally unstable and unbalanced, straight mental health. Very sad. It is. It
Yeah, she
truly,
was.
truly is. Yes.
Yeah.
I felt really bad for her, and I think Jessica was so effective in this role. Melissa's saying, since you've seen a lot of movies, have you seen Vacancy, Joyride, or The Hitchhiker? Yes, yes. Vacancy was really good. Joyride, The Hitcher. I think you mean The Hitcher.
The Hitch. I think
We've
she means
been,
the Hitcher.
yeah,
That's such a good one. Yeah.
we've been thinking about doing that one as
I
well.
enjoyed both the original and the remake for the Hitcher.
Yes, yes. And Ninja is already thinking ahead of me, saying, "Night, Clint Eastwood, the brass tacks episode." Just saying, dude, you know us well, because that's exactly what was going through my mind, man. It
He
really, really
needs more than a
was.
brass tacks
He
because we need to
does.
like talk
He
about
does.
multiple movies,
Oh yeah,
honestly. It needs
yeah.
to be like a
It'll
Sunday
be
thing. Yeah.
well, yeah. Well, I think we're gonna do multiple things, but it'll
Yeah.
definitely be more than one episode. Yeah, no
Right. But I
doubt.
think Sunday should be the day that we could do this, like, right? This
Maybe,
multiple. Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
And Melissa was saying, yes, The Hitcher. Yeah, yeah. There were
Yeah.
some good ones. That was a good
Yeah.
one. Rutger Hauer, another one.
Yes.
Not with
Yeah.
us anymore. A great,
Yeah.
absolute great. But let's go back to that scene that you were talking about too, because she is very unbalanced. She comes to his house. She makes a key behind his back
Hmm.
so she can get into his house without him knowing. And then we have that
Yes.
scene. We have that scene where she hurts herself, which, of course, you were talking about how Fatal Attraction really borrowed a lot from this movie, and it's very evident. But that
Yeah.
scene, man, where she hurts herself, and of course, Clint is a good guy, man. He
Hmm.
is a good guy. That's the one thing I want to make sure that's put out there, because sometimes in these movies you might show that the lead character is kind of in the gray. You know what I'm saying? But Clint was good
Hmm.
in the sense that he was upfront and honest with her from the beginning. And when she hurt herself, he nursed her back to health. He felt bad for her. He didn't
Yeah.
want to just,
And she stayed
you
there
know.
for like not just a night, but for like a couple days.
That's right. And
So yeah.
she was so attached to him. And this scene
Yeah.
shows, and the way it happened was she was given medication to kind of, calm her down. She woke up,
Hmm.
and he said, "Are you okay?" And he had given her lunch and this and that. And it was during the day. And she said, "Just
Hmm.
hold me. I'm scared." And he sits there, and the scene goes from day to night, just like it is right here with him just staring off like into the friggin'
Yeah.
abyss,
And he
like
was supposed to
knowing.
meet his other girl. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Because
Yeah.
she said, "Hey, well, let's try it again." And oh man, it was just bad news from the beginning. It
Yep.
really, really was. But as we further into the story and she attacks his housekeeper, she does get arrested and put into an asylum. And we don't know how much time passes, but it's obviously some time that passes. And then all of a sudden, he's doing this show. And I also want to mention, too, when she attacks the housekeeper, you have this cop, McCallum, I think he was, played by John Larch, who I thought he was fantastic in this little role because they had a lot of great
Hmm.
scenes together. Um, I like their little interaction. But anyways, he gets a call from her while he's doing his show. And she says, "I've been released. I'm better. Everything is cool." And you can see Clint Eastwood is a good dude. He's like, "So glad for you. I'm happy," and blah, blah, blah. And at the end of it, she says, "Well, can you just do me one more favor?" And he says, "Sure. What's that?" And she says, "Would you play Misty for me?" And I was like, oh boy. Long
Yeah.
story short, I don't want to ruin this movie, but at the end, there is a confrontation where she knows exactly where Clint is, who's playing Dave, and also his
Hmm.
his rekindled relationship with Toby. He knows she knows where they're at, and so there is a
Yeah.
kidnapping. That famous scene where she stabs at the pillow, and he moves out of the way just in time. She does kidnap Toby, and it's a really, really
Yeah.
interesting finale. Let's just say that
Mm.
it's an interesting finale, and she just has a lot of scenes with, like this scene here, where she's stabbing at his picture that Toby drew or painted. She was just crazy, man. She really
Yeah.
was, and I just want to give
Yep.
her all the credit in the world. And there is a confrontation, but we won't get any further in that. But what did you think
Mm.
of the finale, Coriander?
It was great. You know, I I don't want to spoil it because
Right?
I don't
Yeah.
know who's seen it, if they're gonna rewatch it. So
Yeah.
I enjoyed the ending. I enjoyed this whole movie. So
Yes.
yeah.
Me too, man. Me too.
Yeah.
Also in the chat, Hatcher Boy saying Vacancy doesn't get enough love. It's a great movie. It is really, really good. Maybe one day we'll talk about that one. That was a good one. Ninja saying Clint Eastwood by decades. Dude,
Ooh.
it's so funny. I thought of an idea kind of like that, dude. And
Yeah.
also Jason, let us know, I should say let me know. Reach out to me if it's something that you'd like to jump on with us, cuz we haven't had you on in a long time. So, yeah, it'd be great to get you back on.
Yeah.
Let's see. And we got Lee is in the chat. What's going on? What's going on?
Hello.
Peyton's in the chat. What's going on?
Hey.
All right. And Ginger Ninja, you're right. Sho Kosugi is awesome. All the ninja movies, love them. Yes. Hatchet Boy saying, I love how that scene was shot and lit up day to night. Great stuff. It's true.
Yeah.
It really is true. It was a great scene. And again, this is Clint Eastwood's first directing project. So it was cool. It was cool. But one thing I want to also just throw out here as we start to wind down is the fact that he, as a filmmaker, and this is a great shot of him just doing his thing. I just think that he is so interesting in his career, the things he's chosen to do, and the accomplishments that he's had. I think just some fantastic stuff. When you talk about a fantastic movie career, I mean, who's done it better than him? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just crazy. It really is. But as usual with these movies that we talk about, we give our thoughts on whether it's a recommended movie or not. And I think by now you guys know where we're going with this. This was an easy one.
Yes.
It's definitely a recommend from both of us. So I won't even go through the process. You do, guys. It was so good. And I love and we haven't talked much about this, but I love the vibe of it, the atmosphere, you know. Just to say to the audience,
groovy.
It was groovy, man. We watched this on a Saturday afternoon. There's a little bit of sunlight coming into the room, and it just has this vibe to it, you know. And if you're a Clint Eastwood fan or a fan of these types of movies, I don't think you can go wrong with this. It's well acted.
You can't. Yeah.
Great characters. And I mean, you got Clint Eastwood, man. I mean, come on. There's nothing better, you know, as far as I'm concerned. But anyways, that's about all we got for Play Misty for me from 1971. Yeah. I mean, seriously. I'm saying it's a classic. Yes. It really is. And talking about Fatal Attraction as well. Yes, it is. And if you guys have not seen our Fatal Attraction episode, please check it out. We had a blast doing that episode. Another great movie. But I do think, and you said this to me from the beginning, Coriander, that Fatal Attraction, you know, I should say, kind of got inspiration from movies like this. And I totally agree. You know, I totally agree. And I'm glad that we finally got a chance not only to talk about this movie, but for me to see it.
Saw it again, yes.
Because I didn't remember it. I had seen it when I was like a kid. Because, like I said, my dad was a huge Eastwood fan, but I didn't remember it. So this was like a first-time watch for me, you know. Yeah. So, anyways, guys, but thank you all for hanging out with us. We really appreciate the support, especially on our Monday nights for Slasher Movie Club. These are passion projects, movies that we check out. So we're glad that you guys are able to hang out with us for a little bit. And as we're winding down, RMJ just comes into the chat saying, all I can say, this movie is for real. Disordered personality is nothing to play with. Fellas, keep figuring your pants for safety. It's true, man. This lady in this movie, and like I said, she played it in a way where she was so sweet and she could go to this. And like I said, Jessica Walter was absolutely fantastic in it, and very, very you felt for her. At least I did, especially in the beginning of the film. And
I didn't.
See, you know the movie. You've seen this movie 1,000 times. This was technically my first watch, you know. So I didn't know.
But even after, you still felt sorry for her?
In the beginning, because she was ill. You know, you gotta remember, that's my line that's my line of work as well. So I have a different viewpoint on it. So
I know.
But I did feel a little bad for her. I'm not saying what she did was right whatsoever. None of what she did was right, but I'm just saying she was ill and just totally obsessed. So, um, Val, thank you so much for reminding people. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think about Play Misty for me, for us, and also any of your other favorite movies that use this trope, like Fatal Attraction or Fear or Hellraiser, any of the other ones we've talked a little bit about. Gina
Mhm.
saying good night. Thank you, Gina.
Good
We
night.
appreciate it. And and of course, Val is all on it, saying please make sure to check
Yes,
out the
she
community
is.
section of the channel. And it is very true. I tried to post to you guys multiple times a week on the community tab. A lot of times it's, for fun stuff, but also to communicate things that are going on in the channel. And I know that for some people they miss it or whatever, but if you ever get a chance to stop by the page, just check out the community tab, and you might find some cool stuff. Melissa saying, no, don't go. Yeah,
Aw.
if, as much as we wish we could stay, but we will be back. We have a special
Tomorrow
episode.
night.
Yeah, and we have a special episode tomorrow night. And well, I wasn't going to say anything, and especially Val, I know is a big fan of this, and Ninja kind of talked a little bit about this, but we're doing a brass tacks episode tomorrow night at 8:15. We're gonna have our dear friend Eric from Hey Internet Eric here, and
Yeah.
all I can
It's
say
been a
is
while.
it's been a long
He
time,
was on the
guys.
other night, but that kind of
Yeah,
didn't count. It did count,
right,
but it didn't.
right. So join us tomorrow night. I'm going to be putting up the link in the video, the video link for the episode once we get done with this. So definitely check it out. And also, guys, if you can, when you come to the page and you see our upcoming stuff, give the video a like. It would definitely help out a lot. I was a little nervous about this episode because it only had like 2 likes on it before we started. I'm like, wow, nobody wants to watch this. So
Aw.
that would really help out as well, guys.
Their
Seriously.
loss.
Well,
Yeah.
Melissa saying, when you going to have another fun night, all pictures of movies, and guess what they are? Well, you know what? We might be doing that sooner than you think. We're still working on that, but that was a blast and we had a lot of fun. And I really appreciated everyone coming out for my birthday stream and a hangout with each other and so many of our great friends. So, yeah. I'm saying thanks, Night. Thanks, Coriander. Great debate tonight. Thanks so much. We appreciate it. And this was a
Yeah.
lot of fun. So
Thanks for
we will
joining
catch you.
us.
Absolutely. We will catch you guys tomorrow night for the brass tacks at 8:15 Eastern Standard Time. And we will be back next Monday with a movie that we will not mention right now, but it should be a fun one. So we will catch you guys later. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Nightwatch. Peace out.
Up church.
And keep on moving.